did mention that we'd come back to the Analogue dash, because it does have one downside as far as I'm concerned. Now, regular viewers of the channel will know that ever since I've had this bike, I've been very concerned with it being water cooled. What kind of a temperature warning system do we have in place? Should we get low on coolant, or should we have a coolant leak and the engine starts running too hot? How are they going to tell me about this? Because this instrument panel doesn't have a warning light for temperature. It's basically the same instrument panel as the Super Meteor, I believe. So that's air and oil cooled engine, so that has no temperature indicator on it whatsoever, no warning light. So I was always concerned what would happen if this engine was running too hot. How would I know about it, you know, before anything terminal happened? So a little while back, I forgot to mention this, but a little while back I did get an answer to that question. So I was at the dealership, I think I was there with the Himalayan, getting something done, and I said to the guy there, could you do me a favour, could you ring up the distributor and ask them what kind of a temperature warning you get on a Guerrilla with an Analogue dash? Because I'd seen that the Tripper dash does actually have on one of the screens, it will show you the water temperature. So they have, those owners have a means of seeing if the engine's running at the right temperature. But currently I didn't. So I said, yeah, could you ask them what would happen on the Analogue dash version should the coolant level drop, should the engine be running too hot? I said, I suspect what will happen is because there's a temperature sensor in the system for the Tripper dash version, that sensor will just trip an engine warning light once the temperature gets out of normal range. But I said, I don't know, that's just my guess. So the Royal Enfield dealer, he was like, He went and looked at a Guerrilla, turned on the ignition, because he didn't believe that there was no temperature gauge, no warning light. He was looking for a temperature warning light. Looked at the Guerrilla, looked at Super Meteor, and he went, that's a really good question. There's nothing there to tell you what's going on with the engine temperature. I said, I know. It's the first liquid-cooled vehicle I've ever owned that didn't have some kind of water temperature gauge. So, you know, what's going on? So anyway, he was more than happy to ring the distributor, explain to the distributor my question, to which the distributor replied, that's a really good question. So they didn't know either. So anyway, he went away for a couple of minutes, and apparently they've got some technical documentation there which we don't have access to. And eventually he came back and said, your customer is absolutely right. It says on the Analogue dash Guerrillas, the temperature sensor will just throw the ECU warning light, so the yellow light. And obviously, if the fan is working normally, the fan will be going like the clappers all the time as well. So basically, you're going to get the ECU warning. The fan will be going as long as you're not overheating, because the fan didn't come on when it was supposed to, of course. But if all things being equal, if you're just low on coolant or you've lost some coolant, the fan should be going, the engine warning light comes on. So I know, going back to the J series early days, lots and lots of bikes were getting spurious ECU warnings coming up, which would then either go away on their own or the dealer would delete them and eventually they'd stop coming. So a lot of us developed kind of a culture of not taking these engine warning lights too seriously, especially when the bikes are new, because more often than not it's just the sensors getting used to each other and the ECU learning about the range that the sensors work in. So, you know, quite often we don't take these little yellow lights particularly seriously these days, especially if the bike's running fine. Well, certainly with the Guerrilla, I would say take it seriously. You know, if that engine warning light comes on, you could be overheating. So stop, listen, and sniff. So if the fan's going when you stop and the bike smells hot, now, you know, when a bike is really running at a temperature that it's not been at before, the rubbers, the plastics, the paints, they do give off vapours, so you smell these for the first time. So you can normally smell it when a bike's running hot. So if you do get the engine warning light come on one of these bikes, do consider stopping, taking it seriously, and making sure that you're not low on coolant and you're not about to cook the engine. So there you go, that was the only thing that I was worried about with this particular bike and this dash. But now I know for sure from the horse's mouth that I'm going to get an ECU warning come up, and then I shall stop and have a sniff and a listen to see if it's a case of overheating. Ruby, what's your water bowl doing outside? Oh, I thought I'd leave it in the sun. Wait for the yellow light to come on when it gets too hot. No, but that's only Guerrillas. I don't think water bowls do that. Anyway, Ruby, it was a nice idea, but I don't think the yellow light's going to be coming on anytime soon. But never mind, here's a sausage. Oh yeah, great sausage. Oh, just the right temperature. Cracking.